In this video, I want to do a full walk around tour of the inside of my Project M from 4-Wheel Camper. So let's pop this thing up and get going. And stick around to the end because I'm going to give you 3 things that I would have done differently that you might want to do differently when you build out yours. What's up? My name is James. Welcome to the Angry Camper. We're going to do a full tour and a walkthrough and a walk around of how I built out the interior of my Project M, my 4-Wheel Camper Project M. I want to talk a little bit about why I chose the Project M. I think the main reason for me personally is because it's basically a camper shell, and I can take, all these cabinets out and I can use this for work. I got to be able to get sheets of plywood in here. I got to be able to get cabinetry in here as I'm a cabinet maker. And so I needed it to be able to be usable while I work. I did not like the idea of loading and unloading an entire camper every time I want to go out camping, because we do it quite often. I wanted to be able to just, throw these in and be on my way. This one and this one are bolted in with 4 bolts, and then they come right out. There's quick connects for the propane and for the rest of the stuff that just get me on my way. So another reason why I chose the Project M over a rooftop tent or a hard shell, rooftop tent is because I like the idea of being able to stand up inside my camper to get dressed. We do a lot of winter sports. So it's nice to be able to get your ski gear on, your snowboarding gear on inside here and be able to get out without having to have an annex. I watch a lot of people with rooftop tents. It takes them a long time to set up, and then you're gonna try to attach an annex to it. That takes a long time. This thing, within 1 minute, I can be popped up and ready to sleep within 1 minute. To me, that is amazing. So the first thing I want to talk about is the plumbing system. I want to go over all what I did for the plumbing. When I built this thing, I wanted to be able to go out for 5-6 days at a time. So with that, I have a young daughter that's 10. Obviously, you want to be able to shower. So you want to be pretty self-sufficient and self-reliant. So what I did with this one, I picked up a Camp Lux on-demand instant hot water heater, so that we have, with our sink up here, we have full hot and cold running water. These quick connect to this thing, as well as I have my propane quick connect here. So what I also have on the outside here is I do have this little setup for a shower head. We do have a shower tent. It's not always necessary. So what I have down below, I have 12 gallons of fresh, 6 gallons of waste. I have a 12-volt pump, as well as I have a tiny filter, and this just goes down into the waste. For me and what I wanted to do, I got a little bit larger than an RV sink. I actually got a bar sink, and this thing is pretty deep. And the reason why I did that is because I don't know about you guys, but trying to wash any kind of pan in an RV sink is stupid. The water spills out and spews everywhere, and it is just a big nightmare. So I went with a little bit bigger. Yes, it's a little bit heavier, but I don't have a problem washing my pans and my dishes with this little setup. Pretty happy with it overall. So that's kind of that deal. With the plumbing system that we're talking about, I have propane that runs through the cabinets, across the back, in through this cabinet, and I have an 11-pound tank mounted right here. I also have the ability, I have my fill hose. I have, let me jump out of here real quick. I have a quick connect for my barbecue that usually will sit on a table just outside the truck or sometimes on the tailgate, so that I have propane for barbecue and for camp stove outside. And since we're talking about propane, let's run over here. So inside this little cabinet up here, I have my camp stove set up. And it just sits on this little shelf, and it actually pulls right out, sits on the top of the counter, and I have propane connected right here to where I can make coffee inside here or cook inside here or whatever we have to do if it's raining or whatever. I have full-on cooking available here. So we'll throw that guy back in here. And that's for that. So then we also have storage for pots and pans and stuff down here, as well as we also store our barbecue down below over here. Some dishes and stuff down in here, as well as we have some other miscellaneous stuff where we keep bags and gloves and stuff like that down there. Okay. Since we're talking about cooking and how we do our cooking, let's talk about our amazing 12-volt IceCo refrigerator. This is only a single zone. However, I'm going to tell you right now, this thing is amazing. Having a 12-volt compressor fridge is beyond amazing. It's great because literally you're never worried about ice. I can go out indefinitely on the solar system that I have, and as long as I got sunny days, I've got solar for as long as I ever could imagine with this thing. One of the great benefits of having an IceCo like this is that you can take sodas that are not cold and throw them in the bottom, and within an hour they're cold now. You can't really do that with a cooler because it will suck up all of your ice. But this, game changer for overlanding and camping. Just absolutely amazing. Love that thing. So the next thing that I want to talk about in here is going to be the solar system and the lighting. This thing does come with 4 LED strip lights that are up here that are dimmable. They're amazing. They're super, super bright. They're super low wattage. They're amazing. This thing has a max air fan that is remote controlled, has a rain sensor for the top. It's a pretty standard feature. What I did in this particular setup was I ran myself this solar system down here. See if I can get down in there, see if this thing can see. I have 3 modes of charging. I have DC to DC from the alternator. I have a solar charge controller from my 100-watt flexible solar panel that's on the roof. And I also have shore power charging. I have a 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. And I've got this thing set up with several, I've got a water pump, I've got a refrigerator, I've got charging ports up here. I've got lights that turn on from the back, so I've got myself some charging ports down here, and then I've got some lights that plug in for the back. So far in this setup, that 100 amp hour battery has been perfect. It runs that fridge indefinitely on the one single solar panel, so I'm extremely excited about that. Solar panel, blah, 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 fuck. Solar system works killer. So the next thing I want to talk about real quick is going to be the sleeping arrangement up here. In the full-size truck version of the Project M, it does come with a king-size bed. This thing is 6 feet wide by 84 inches deep. So it literally is amazing. You can fit 2 small kids and 2 adults up here, no problem. The weight rating is like 500 pounds. Literally, it is huge. And you can sleep side to side this way too, which I think, what do they call that? East to west? This is what, north, south, east to west? Yeah. So you can sleep that way too. So that is a great thing about this camper. And also when it comes to the sleeping, 4-wheel camper does offer the mattress setup that has their vinyl coating on it and stuff like that. It's pretty expensive. I chose not to do that. I just went to a foam shop, had them cut me 2 pieces of foam. I had my daughter's mother, she sewed me some wonderful covers, and that's kind of how we set that up right there. So now let's talk a little bit about storage. These cabinets do offer quite a bit of storage. We've already seen inside here, which is for pots and pans and silverware, and then my stove sits up top. The other side over here, I just use this for sleeping bag, extra blanket. I can put like the dirty clothes laundry bag in there. It seems to work perfectly. for me and my daughter. I have this cubby down here where we keep a porta potty, an extra sink. I have a tarp awning that goes on the back, as well as a screened porch that goes on the back of this thing to be able to keep the bugs out. Down below on this side, we have a barbecue. We have some other miscellaneous items, you know, plastic bags, tape, stuff like that. This is where we keep like multiple other items. On this side over here, what I like to do is we have these little gray containers here that we put our clothes in, and then we can keep our clothes in here. Boom, we have these wonderful, these things are awesome. I love them. They work great. Fill up your clothes. On this side, we keep paper towels, and then once again, our food will be in here. Keep our food in here. We have a bin that's just mostly for electronics. We have something that keeps butt wipes in it, as well as Lysol wipes for when we go to public restrooms. Let's see. Down here, this side, we just keep some miscellaneous electrical components, an extra tank of some propane just in case there's an issue. We have some clamps, we have, you know, some more food storage, but the water heater actually fits in here as well. So that's kind of cool. And while we're talking about, and yes, just so you know, we do keep a first aid kit here, and there's one in the front seat as well as there's one in my backpack. Okay. So as we're, yeah, let me throw this in there. So this cargo net here, we pull this down and we put the pillows inside the cargo net and keep them lofted up right here, because you can't keep all the bedding up in here when it's closed. So we keep all the pillows and the extra blankets and everything inside of here, just wrapped up in this cargo netting. And another cool feature that I added to this thing, just in case we have rain or snow, like when we're out doing our snow stuff, I got a table that just mounts to here, and it's extremely sturdy, so that we're able to actually hang out in here, can cook, eat, play cards, play games, and do anything we want right here on this table. So if you stuck around this long, I'd like to say thank you. And now, as promised, I'd like to give you 3 things that I would do differently if I had to do this over again. And I would say, number 1, this one hurts my heart too, because I'm a cabinet maker by trade. I built these things a little too heavy. I got, you know, good size face frames, 3/4 inch ply on the ends. I tried to use 1/2 inch ply on the tops, but they ended up weighing a lot more than I wanted. Literally, this side is about 102 pounds. This side is about 76 pounds. So that's one of the things I would definitely do differently. Number 2, after using them for a while, I think it'd be really, really good if I would have put a little cabinet door like here, or like one big one here, and had little shelves in there for things like flashlights, for butt wipes, for bug spray, because we got to keep the bug spray, you know, over here. It'd just be nice to be able to not have to get into the back of the truck to be able to grab stuff out of right here. So that's another thing. That's number 2. Number 3, when I'm laughing at myself because I really screwed this up. When I originally was designing all of these cabinets, this water heater was supposed to fit down there on the end inside, and I was just going to run a little vent just out into here. But it didn't end up working out with all the connections for all the plumbing. It just didn't work out. So if I had it to do over, I would make this cabinet 4 inches shallower that direction to be able to mount this permanently. It's not a pain in the ass to put these on here and connect them. It's pretty simple, and it, you know, doesn't really leak, but it would have just been nice to not have to do that at all, to where it's just permanent. The only thing I had to connect would be that for the hot water for the hose. That's pretty much, those are my 3 main things I would do differently. I would build the cabinets a lot lighter, as well as I think that I would make this side shorter. There's no reason for it to be this high. When I originally built everything, it was to take it on a trip that was going to be 6 weeks long. So we needed a lot of extra storage, but now that this is for weekends, I could have just done this much shorter. Well, that's going to conclude this tour. Thanks for sticking around this long. If you did enjoy the tour and you want to see more stuff like this, throw a like on the video, subscribe if you want to. In conclusion, I would say this. Building out a camper is something that is going to evolve and it's going to change. Things that you want to take with you are going to change. Things that you don't want to take are going to change. So you're going to constantly be evolving in this whole thing. So it's a learning curve. This was my first one and I definitely learned a lot. Thanks for watching this tour of my Project M from 4 Wheel Campers. And until next time, see ya.